Thank you for joining me today for our weekly Feel Good Friday short session and tips. Today we're actually going to talk about don't feel good. Well, can I use my machine when I'm sick or when I'm feeling sick? I've got a couple of camera angles going today. I want to say hi to my mom who just got back from New Brunswick after a nice trip to Mexico, my biggest fan. And yeah, a lot of people I'm talking to the last week or two are just not feeling good. We've got pandemics going on globally. And, people just want to know, is this something that I should do when I'm not feeling so great? And feeling so great is a big topic. How we manifest symptoms when we're sick is going to be a little bit different for everybody. Today we're going to go over a couple of short things, and I forgot my routine here. When you're sick, the biggest thing I want to point out is it really depends on how you're feeling. Is it head congestion? Is it body aches? Do you feel nauseous? Have you got diarrhea? There's a bazillion different things that may be happening to you that are out of the norm. And some general guidelines, if you were a gym goer or training for a marathon or something and you came down with a cold or a flu or you were sick, you probably would do something, but you may not train with full intensity. And it's kind of the same general guidelines I want to give you when using your vibration machine. So if you are feeling sick, depending on how you're feeling, I'm going to go through some symptoms as we get on the machine and walk through this. But, I encourage if you are using to use your vibration machine if you're not feeling great. Not necessarily for those workout or those fitness or weight loss goals, but as you know, through these Feel Good Fridays, there's lots of reasons I encourage you to use a machine regularly just for the feel good quality of life aspects. And if you are sick, dealing with congestion, we've talked a lot about detoxification and lymphatic movement this week, which is a big side benefit to using a vibration machine. Really, anytime you're moving, lymph is moving. And if you're dealing with congestion, your body's, battling to get something through your system, why not give it a little bit of help? So today we are going to cover settings on both machines as we always do. If you are on a vertical style platform today, a lot of people ask why I don't use the vertical more often on my sessions. They're a little bit louder in my voice and in my small studio here, so it's harder to hear me. So a lot of times I'm not doing the actual things setting wise just so you guys can hear me better. Today, if you are on a vertical platform, just for your warm-up, I want you at 30 to 35 hertz, a lower intensity if you have that option, or a lower amplitude. If you are on a pivotal style platform, and your frequencies, I'm getting lots of calls from folks that don't have machines that are capable of some of the frequencies that I play with. So for today's session, we're in the feel good range. If you're on a pivotal style platform, I want you at 12 to 16 hertz. If you are on a generic style pivotal platform, your top frequency range is going to be about 12 to 14 hertz. So bring yourself somewhere up to your mid to high speed range or level if that's the representation on your machine. So I'm just at 12 hertz, and I always do pelvic tilts, that's my thing, but what I want you to do is stand here for probably just a period of 30 seconds to a minute. Just, if you're sitting lots, you're not feeling great. I think I'm going to turn around and face the camera this way. A lot of the time, you're laying in bed and your hips and your back get sore. So the number one reason you want to get on your machine is, just to break up all the sitting that you're possibly doing. If you're really congested in your head, sinus infection, things like that, the vibration on the head on either style of platform isn't always comfortable. So keep those knees bent. You may notice that your nose actually starts running through the course of the session. That's a good thing. So have some Kleenex handy. If you are dealing with a lot of body aches, you're super congested in the head, reduce the distance between your feet on your pivotal platform. Make sure that you're on your low setting if you're on a vertical style platform. And I just want you to stand here for, like I say, 30 seconds to a minute. Anytime you really feel like getting up and just loosening up, okay? The next thing what we're going to do is if you're comfortable with this standing and you've had enough, that's really all that you need to do. If you are super lethargic, fatigue, you're sick, but you got to get stuff done and you want a little bit of an energy boost, bring yourself up on your pivotal style of 18 to 22 hertz. On your vertical, bring your range up to 35, maybe 40 hertz. On your pivotal, keep your feet close together. This isn't about doing a big squat or a big workout. I just want some neurological stimulation, give you a bit of an energy boost. On your vertical platform, low intensity, 35 to 40 hertz. And just continue to stand here for another 30 seconds to a minute if that's tolerable. If you did want to add a little pelvic tilt, if you're feeling okay in the head, and you just wiggle around. You know where you're sore from laying down, okay? So either of those positions, I want you about 30 seconds, maybe a minute per pose. And the big thing I want to get through is if you're sick and you're sitting home on the couch anyways, get on it a couple of times. You're getting up to take a pee, or you're getting up to, get a drink of water out of the fridge. You're up already. Just get on it for a minute or two and, help your body further detoxify and get rid of some of the stiffness that might be, accumulating through all that sitting. So for those that are able and we have range of motion, we're going to get down on the ground. So if you are dealing with excessive head congestion, you're really, really achy, and maybe this is on top of a bunch of medical concerns, and you just don't really want to stand, could always sit in a chair. That's another option we've covered. Today we're going to sit down on the machine. I keep saying there's a million things you can do in a seated position, and I will do a segment just on that one of these days. But today I want to go over, sitting down is a good way to target, the muscles and the fatigue that you might be experiencing in the low back altogether. It's going to get the stimulation and the movement a little closer to the lymph nodes. And if it's upper body congestion, upper body soreness, we're going to go over a couple variations to just, give the upper body a little bit more direct attention. For this seated massage, if you're on a vertical platform, I want you setting your machine at 35 to 40 hertz. A low intensity to start. If it's okay, you might want to bring that up to high. On your pivotal platform, you're sitting right in the middle, so how much you're shaking, your amplitude or your intensity is dependent on how wide your legs are. So just get it going with your feet in the middle. We're going to preset it again for about 18 to 22 hertz. And if you do have a lot of head congestion, just lean forward slightly, get the angle out of the neck and the shoulders. And what I'll encourage you to do is just tilt your head forward and maybe just sort of sit back a little bit till you're feeling it in the neck and the shoulders, but not so much the head. You can turn your head side to roll the shoulders. All you're doing is adding stimulation to these areas. And sitting directly on it's going to loosen up the hamstrings and the thighs and that low back. Constipation is not usually an issue. If you're dealing with a flu bug, usually it's cleaning you out. But if you are suffering with constipation due to whatever illness you're dealing with or a side effect of some meds, just sitting on the machine on these higher frequencies, 35 to 40 on your vertical again, and we're 18 to 22 on the pivotal, will aid in constipation if you are having concerns there. Now, to further target the upper body, I just want to do a little addition here. We're going to sit on our hands. So I want you to take your hands, and I want you to tuck them just kind of under your butt cheek where it meets the top of your thigh. You're not really sitting on the butt bone. Your hands are down, and your arms are longer than the distance to your hips, so your elbows are going to be naturally bent. And by doing this, you're going to feel more movement now in the upper body, and just give those arms and that neck and the torso a little bit more direct action. Again, if you've got too much stuffiness or tension in the head, and this is too uncomfortable, take the hands out and just, 30 seconds to a minute in this seated position, and you're going to feel a lot fresher. I don't want you going too long. This isn't a fitness session. This is not about pushing to fatigue. So, 30 seconds to a minute per position more frequently. You're looking at a total of 3 to 5 minutes by the time we're done all of this. The very last thing that I want to focus on today is a little bit more direct upper body. We're going to do a modified push-up, and we're going to finish in a lat or a preacher stretch, just to give that upper body a little bit more tension. It is going to require you to get down on your knees, so I suggest matting the floor if you've got bad knees. This isn't about putting a whole lot of body weight into it. I just want you in a cat-cow position. On your pivotal platform, we're going to get this going at about 12 to 14 hertz. Your vertical, drop it back down to 30, 35 hertz. Bring that intensity again to low, or if you have that option. I want your hands fairly close together. We're not going to go super, super wide. And you just keep your head just past your hands, and you'll feel it more in the neck and the shoulder area. If you're looking directly at your hands, you can also hear it more prominently in my voice. Notice as I lean forward, it dissipates. Okay? And you can just continue this for 30 seconds to a minute. Wiggle your arms around a little bit, see what feels good. This is all about experimenting. You know where you hurt. Now, to stretch out the arms, I'm going to have you take a few steps back with your knees. We're just going to sit down. Okay, if you want more intensity on your pivotal, widen up your hands. If you want to increase your intensity on your vertical, please do so. You know, and there's really no limit. You know, maybe you want to do a little bit more of this. And come back down. Okay. I would continue, keep that one on the lower frequencies, 12 to 16 on your pivotal platform and 30 to 35. When you've got your hands on the plate in that fashion, you don't really have a lot of body weight going into it, and if you're going too fast or you've got too much intensity, too much G-force in the equation, your hands are kind of just going to flop all over the place. So you want to feel like you're getting the stretch, but you just want to use those slower frequencies, especially if you're using a wider hand position. That's 3 or 4 variations. I will repost the settings and the names of the positions in today's feed. Again, you are only limited by your imagination and your range of motion. You know, this is going to help a lot of you out there. Like I say, if you are, so many people are homesick this week, feel free to use your machine, but to just back off on the intensity and use it a little bit more regularly when your body says it needs a fix. If you are dealing with something more specific, you're looking for a custom routine, you need some help, you're supposed to be doing physio exercises, and there's no limit to what you can't do in this environment. And if you would like some custom coaching, I'm here for that as well. If you'd like to book a one-on-one, let me know, and I'll put some additional information in the feed after the broadcast today. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. Happy leap year.